lathes are available in sizes ranging from 300 to 3000 mm between centers. So first one, we'll just try to see what is the swing diameter or the maximum diameter. The swing diameter is nothing but it is the largest diameter of the work that can be effectively used for machining. So actually, when you try to take that into consideration, it is nothing but it is the twice the height of the centers measured from the lathe bed. Twice the height of the center, not center. Any center, you try to take the live center, that is headstock center. The particular swing diameter is twice the height of the center measured from the lathe bed. Lathe bed is nothing but the machine bed. So all that are definite things. And what is the length of the bed? What is the length of the bed? The length of the bed I have not specified here. It is a length of the floor space occupied by the lathe. So whatever floor space is occupied by the lathe, it is nothing but the length of the bed. So here also he has given, but bed length including the headstock he has given. It is correct. So you just try to see that also, the length of the bed. And what is the distance between centers? Yesterday we have discussed that also. So it is nothing but it is the maximum length of work that can be accommodated for machining. Maximum length of work that can be accommodated for machining between the live center and the dead center, or between the headstock and the tailstock. So all these are very important aspects. You have to consider the specifications of the lathe machine, and another one is the height of the centers. Height of the centers. So what is the height of the center? It is nothing but it is the height of the axis of lathe measured from the lathe bed. It is the height of the axis of the lathe measured from the lathe bed. So all these are the specifications of lathe. Another one is the maximum diameter of the bar, or whatever it is we have discussed. Swing diameter is different. Yes, already specified in the first one itself, the maximum diameter of the job. But whatever the maximum diameter of the workpiece or job that can be passed through the spindle of headstock. That can be passed through the spindle of headstock. It's not that any question is short answer or big answer. For how many marks he gives, you have to elaborate that in the big question in the section B. Section A, you just try to pinpoint what are the different specifications of the lathe. So, and what are the additional particular parameters other than this? All these are primary parameters, we can say, and the additional parameters are the particular for the specifications. They can be specified by the width and depth of the bed. Width and depth of the bed. And next one, it is the range of spindle speed. So already I told you in the manual for the particular lathe machine, that is an engine lathe or center lathe or any other lathe, you will give the specification after which the spindle speed can run. Maybe from starting from, you may give the range, but the maximum spindle speed, it may be as around as 3000 or 3500 RPM, or according to the particular the size of the lathe also. So that is the thing. And what is the particular lead screw? Already I just shown in the particular diagram, the schematic sketch or the line diagram. So you have to have the pitch value of lead screw. In the screw threads metrology, pitch value is nothing but it is the radial distance between the adjacent threads. It is given by P. It is given by small p or P. So what is the, yesterday I want to tell you that specification of the live center or dead center, if anything has to be replaced, because after a few years of time, you have to replace the live center or the dead center. You have to purchase it in the market. How do you ask? MT3 tapper or MT2 or MT1, whatever it is. What is MT? It is the Morse tapper of the center. It may be the live center or the dead center. So mostly we try to keep in the tool room or tool storage where we want to store the tools, that particular things. But if you want to order from the market from a different purchaser, you have to specify the specifications of the centers. So that is the most taper of the center. So what is the lead screw diameter? So we have the lead screw now. So this is a primary one. Primary parameters I have discussed. These are the secondary one. So these are the lead screw diameter and number of threads. So how many number of threads are there in the lead screw? How many number of threads are in the lead screw? Or we know, screw threads, suppose you want to define a lead. Lead is given by as a product of N into P. So what is N? Number of starts. N is equal to 1 single start thread, N is equal to 2 multi-star thread, and so on. So it is the number of threads, lead screw diameter and number of threads. Lead is the axial distance moved by the screw, is given by L. The axial distance moved by the screw in one revolution. So all these are very important parameters one has to know regarding the screw threads: the pitch, the lead, the major diameter, the minor diameter, and the other diameters are there. We'll try to discuss in metrology subject. So the size of the tool post. Yesterday I have shown in the carriage there will be a tool post, the cross slide, everything, the compound rest, because compound rest already I told you it is used in the taper turning method. There are two types of taper turning method. One is the compound slide, and the tailstock set over method. So just try to discuss in the taper turning methods. So what are the other things? We have to specify the swing over gap. It is only specified, already I told you, it's not a primary parameter, though I have included in that. It is only applicable in case of the specially designed gap bed type plates. It's not used for all the types, only for specific purpose. We try to use them. So all these are, and number of feeds. Already I told you the feed control is there, the feed mechanism is there, just like the speed. How many number of feeds you have to specify for that particular lathe. There's a range also, just like the spindle speed. And you have to choose the feed according to the particular operation. The operations we'll try to discuss later. The operations in a lathe after we finish this. And we have the number and range of threads that can be cut. So what is the number and range of threads that can be cut? You have to see that also by using the lathe machine, because the thread cutting operation is also one of the operations, just like facing and turning. So next we'll try to move over to the components of a lathe machine. Yesterday we have seen the sketch. Again we'll try to see after we discuss the theory part. Yesterday shown in the introduction part. So introduction of lathe machines. So mainly you have to discuss, you have to draw the line diagram and discuss the four things. That is the headstock, that is the tailstock, the carriage, and you have to discuss all the other parts. So in the carriage, we have the saddle, we have the cross slide. The cross slide will be moving perpendicular to the bedways or the guideways, perpendicular to the operator, machine operator, the compound rest, the tool post, and the apron. So all these are very much a part of the carriage. Carriage will consist of 5 parts. So now we'll discuss the other parts, but the machine bed is also a very important part as far as the parts of a lathe, but you have to discuss the other parts also, just like you can discuss the other things also, but the lathe accessories are different from the main components of a lathe. Lathe accessories we'll try to discuss later, but as of now, you have to concentrate on the components of lathe. You have finished the specifications of lathe.
సార్ మీది మ్యూట్ అయిపోయింది, అన్మ్యూట్ చేసుకోండి సార్ ఒకసారి. హలో సార్, సార్ మీది మ్యూట్ అయిపోయింది ఆడియో, ఒకసారి అన్మ్యూట్ చేసుకోండి సార్.
So Ajad, now you can listen. I think mic is muted. My mic.
ఎస్ సార్.
ఓకే, శ్రీనివాస్ సార్. ఓకే, అంటే అలాంటప్పుడు కొద్దిగా మెసేజ్ అయితే నేను చూడలేను, కానీ ఫోన్ చేయండి, పర్వాలేదు. స్పాట్ అండ్ పాస్. ఓకే, సో విల్ కమ్ టు ద components of lathe, that is headstock, tailstock, carriage. Carriage will consist of saddle, cross slide, compound rest, tool post, and apron. So these are the 5 components will come under carriage, and the other one is the machine bed. So headstock, already I told you, it comprises of the mechanisms for providing power to the lathe spindle, because you have to give power to the spindle. It is given in terms of P, and P is equal to 2.T by 60. Already I told you, N is the spindle speed and RPM, T is the torque, which is a product of the spindle force into the cutting force into the radius of the tool. So it is used to rotate the workpiece or job at different speeds. So here the spindle will be the main component of the headstock. And what is the length of the spindle? Already yesterday we have covered, but here it is long enough to cover the entire length of headstock. So spindle, shaft, male component. So in order to hose the spindle, the other female component is the spindle housing or the headstock. So all that we have to take into consideration. So next we have the spindle. What is a spindle? Yesterday I told you, it's not a solid part, it is a hollow like pipe, and accommodates the live center at its front end, because we have discussed the live center at its front end. So it is a live center at its front end means it's just like a nose, spindle nose. It's known as spindle nose. So then the faceplate. The faceplate, when we'll use this faceplate, when we'll use this face plate, so that also you have to discuss. The face plate is screwed on the spindle nose, and we have already seen that also. And in the particular diagram, and we have the longer workpieces in manufacturing. Keywords are longer stock. These are the raw workpieces, and such as bright bars or other round sections. Any the particular work materials are in flat, round, cylindrical, and cross section, and they're used for machining. And they can be easily fed through the hollow section of the spindle. So from its rear end. So whatever we are just trying to assemble the 3-jaw chuck or the 4-jaw chuck, it will be the from the rear end to the front end. So this materials, whatever materials are there, workpiece materials are there. They are held with the help of 3-jaw chuck or the 4-jaw chuck. They are screwed on the spindle nose. So whenever you are using the chucks, you try to keep this in mind. This is a very important point. So what is a chuck? Chuck is used to rotate the job. So the live center is not used. Live center should not be used along with the chuck. So when live center is there, chuck is not there, and chuck is there, live center is not there. So why that live has come to the particular live center? So the particular meaning is live center is called because during working, during machining operation, the center revolves with the job. The center revolves with the job, but why? That is the headstock center, but the dead center, that is the tailstock center, why it's known as the dead center. It is fitted with the tailstock, but it normally remains stationary. It will not rotate with the job, but it will allow the job to rotate. It will allow the job to rotate during machining. So that is the difference between live center and dead center. Already I told you the specifications of the live center and the dead center. They are given by means of Morse taper. That is in taper turning, the big end length D, the small end length, the big diameter, the smaller diameter, tan alpha is equal to D minus D by 12. What is that length? L. L is the length of the step length for which you have just gone for the taper. How much taper? Taper length. So all this are practically you can do in the machine shop, the manufacturing technology lab. And next one is the tailstock. So what is a tailstock? Tailstock fits onto the opposite end of the lathe bed. That is to the right of the lathe machine, and it carries the dead center. So it is used to hold and support the job. So it is that's why it is used called as dead center. So it's used to hold and support the job when rotated between the two centers, two lathe centers. That is the live and dead center. So all these are very important things, but you try to remember that dead center does not revolve with the job. Already we have just discussed that. That's why it's known as the dead center. So next, the tailstock. We have yesterday we have seen. I already shown you the tailstock consists of a sleeve. I already just given an example of the arrows which are there in the quill. The sleeve, and we have a nut. We have a hand wheel to move the tailstock towards the job for lengthier and lengthier and shorter length workpieces. All these are very important aspects you have to consider. It consists of a sleeve, nut, hand wheel, dead center, an arrangement for holding the rigid tailstock rigid with the lathe during machining. So the tailstock should not be it should be rigid. There should not be play between the where the tailstock is fixed on the particular bedways. So all these are very important aspects you have to consider. So I just told the people not to join late. Though we are allowing, because we are getting a report from the central committee that your attendance is very poor, you will be detained. Don't think it is a particular online class. I can just stay away from the online classes. So if you have any particular reason, you have to solve yourself. Okay. So that is the particular arrangement for holding the tailstock rigid with the lathe bed during machining. Because why we have to hold the tailstock rigid, there's a reason also. It can be asked in the Viva, in the lab, because in the tailstock set-over method, because we have to use that particular tailstock for the tailstock set-over method for taper turning. Because we have to use for the taper turning, that is other than the compound rest method. So that is one of the important things we have to consider. So that is about the tailstock. And next, we have the tailstocks serve several functions. For example, it holds the particular job through its dead center. Already we have seen during machining operations. It enables the taper turning by tailstock set-over method. And not only that, you people don't know, we can perform the drilling operation because it supports the drill with the drill holder. Because if you want to drill any hole in the job, which is held in the 3-jaw chuck or the 4-jaw chuck, we can just drill that particular hole with the help of the drill holder. Because the drill holder will hold the drill. That is the twist drill. So that is the drilling tool. Because I already told you in production drawing, once he has asked the drilling tool, some thought otherwise, and they're not drawn the twist drill. That is the tool. So we are having different flutes and different diameters, all that. So next one is the carriage. So what is a carriage? It's a device for the devices. So we have 5 components, subcomponents in the carriage. They are devices for controlling the motions of tool. So whatever the motions of tool are there are included in the carriage section. So carriage has 2 parts. Again, we can just divide that. One is the saddle, and the other one is the apron. Saddle and apron. So what is the saddle? The portion which takes it on it the cross slide. On the saddle we have the cross slide, which is moving perpendicularly to the particular longitudinal slide or perpendicular to the machine operator, and the compound rest, and it slides along the bedways. And slides along the bedways. That is the saddle. Already I told you, for some acceptance tests or alignment tests, not only designing and assembling. After assembling the machine, in metrology we'll be discussing in one of the units the alignment tests and acceptance tests on lathe machine, milling machine, and radial drilling machine. So for that you have to keep the saddle in exactly in the middle portion. It depends upon the length of the bed, whether it is 5 meters or 3 meters or something. So that particular portion which takes on the cross slide and compound rest and slides along the bedways is called saddle. So the definitions are there. You have to see that the key definitions and keywords and the components and subcomponents of the lathe also. So the other one which covers the controls for hand and power feed. The hand and power feed, the manual motion and the power feed of the tool, and the thread cutting controls. Because already I told you thread cutting is also a part of the lathe operation, the operations of lathe. So that is called apron. Apron, A-P-R-O-N. So that it controls the hand and power feed of tool. So that's also a very important mechanism which you have to discuss later. So we have the hanging part. So what is the apron? It is a hanging part in front of carriage. In front of carriage. And it is a subcomponent of the carriage. And then the number of gate trains are there because you have to power the tool or power the feed. That can be given to the saddle, or in other words, it's the carriage. So number of gate trains, already I told you, you have to choose a particular gate trains, a specific gate train as far as spindle or the feed is concerned. to choose the spindle speed and feed. So that is very important, but here it is the feed. And feeds that can be given to the saddle and the cross slide. Saddle and the cross slide. So that is a very important part, because you have to know how much the feed should be given to the cross slide. That is the transverse movement of the cross slide. When it comes to the longitudinal slide, it is parallel to the spindle axis. Parallel to the spindle axis. Try to remember the difference between longitudinal slide and the cross slide. So you have to know all that particular things. So what is the function of saddle? The function of saddle is you have to move the saddle. The function of saddle is to move along the guideways of the leg. So the guideways are two types. One is the front and the rear. Already yesterday we have discussed about the flat type guideways and the V type. So all that are very important aspects of the particular guideways and other parts of the carriage. So that is the cross slide, compound rest, and tool post. So you have to see that what is the function of saddle, because each and every component will have a function, starting from the headstock, the tailstock, the carriage, the saddle, the guideways, everything. So the function of saddle is to move along the guideways of the lathe and support the other parts of the carriage. That is cross slide, compound rest, and tool post. So you have to see it. So anybody asks what is cross slide? So what is cross slide? You have to see that also, and you have to see that what is cross slide. So that is also very important aspects. It provides feed to the cutting tool. It provides feed to the cutting tool. So that's also a very important part of this particular thing. And already I told you, it moves perpendicular to the center line of the leg or to the spindle axis. So what is compound rest? So compound rest is nothing but it is placed over the cross slide. It is placed over the cross slide. So it is a part, just a cross slide and compound rest are part of the carriage, subcomponents of the carriage. So these are, it's placed over the cross slide and consists of a, you just try to say why we have a graduated circular base scale is there, circular scale is there, because you have to know how much you have to swivel the tool for taper turning, how much angle you have to swivel the tool for the taper turning operation. You try to just calculate by the formula tan alpha is equal to capital D minus small d. Capital D is a major diameter, bigger diameter. A small d is a minor diameter or smaller diameter by 2L. So you have to see that all those things. So tool post. So what is a tool post? Tool post is nothing but it holds the tool in position. And where it is mounted? It's mounted on the top of the carriage, because all these are the subcomponents of the carriage. And you can say subcomponent or main component, but you have to cover all this along with the headstock, tailstock, carriage, and machine bed. What is apron? Why it's known as apron? Because it gives shelter, or it houses the feed mechanism. It houses the feed mechanism, clutch mechanism. You have a clutch there. You just try to see, because in the line diagram I have showed the split half nut, also the gears, the levers, because the gear trains are used for choosing the appropriate feed on the gear train, and the levers also. LEVERS. You just try to be specific of the particular spellings also, because nowadays the particular generation is poor in English grammar and the spellings. So what is an apron wheel? Because in order to just operate the apron, we have an apron wheel. It can be rotated by hand, because you have to go for the longitudinal motion of the carriage. Longitudinal motion, that is the parallel movement with respect to the spindle axis or the parallel movement with respect to the machine operator. So that is the apron. That's why the apron has come into existence, the word. So the fourth one is the bed, machine bed. So machine bed, it gives support to all the mountings of the lathe. Whatever mountings we had, headstock, tailstock, carriage, all that. Tool post, cross slide, compound rest, so all that we have. So we have that it is made of nickel alloy cast iron. So already I told you, made of cast iron, or nowadays already I told you alternate materials are made for the machine bed, the cast, other than the cast iron, made with composite materials or nano composites or granite beds for heavy turning centers, just like vertical turning center and horizontal turning center. In CAM, you have that computer-aided manufacturing subject, you have that. So it is a season, already I told you, seasoning, what you mean by seasoning. The machine bed in the raw material stage is kept as exposed to atmosphere and seasoned because we have to relieve the residual stresses. And after that, you take it to the machine room, machine shop, and machine it. We have to use the scraping tools. Why we have to use the scraping tools? Because we have to make the bed flat. We have to make the bed flat. How you can check the lathe bed for flatness? You have to use a spirit level, because the spirit level is available in the machine shop or the metrology lab, or in the machine shop also. Available with the each and every construction people, the carpentry, because they'll be checking the flatness of the whatever materials they try to have for that particular application. So, and the scrap, because the working accuracy of a lathe, you just try to see, this is like a foundation, because the foundation subjects like mathematics or the initial subjects like SM1 or DME1 or TE1, all this engineering mechanics. So these are the foundation subjects for your AMTech, because if anybody wants to go for advanced manufacturing systems, so you have to have a grip on the particular manufacturing subjects, or thermal subjects or design. Just giving an example, because why I'm telling the lathe bed is very important. The accuracy of working of a lathe largely depends upon the trueness of bed. Trueness is nothing but the flatness. We check with the spirit level. It's one of the important parameter we have. So just allow him, because I told you not to come late to the class. Still, Elise, I think I never seen like this people for entering late. So the bed carries the bedways. What is the bed? Lathe bed carries the bedways or guideways. They're known as guideways also, front and rear. So there are two types. One is the inverted. Already I told you, guideways are two types. One is the V type, which V type means it is an included angle of V as 90 degrees. And the flat type also, it can be combination you can use. In most of the lathe machines we have like this only. But in some of the special purpose machines, we can also use a combination. We have used in the semi-finished boring machine in a automotive industry, where I used to go for inspection outside, where the machines are being manufactured. Each and every step is very important. Inspection of the individual components, just like the acceptance or the alignment, because they are costing lakhs of rupees, starting from 25 lakhs to other things. So I think you can hear, because my internet connection is unstable sometimes. Okay, the flat guideways give larger bearing surface, because we have a corresponding reduction in wear. But flatter guideways, we have to take special care for maintenance. Maintenance, because we have to clean them from the metal chips, from the ensuing operation, machining operation, any other foreign matter like dust. But what is the advantage of V-type guideways or the flat type? Because the material will be, because the V-type will be slanting, it will gives a better guide to the carriage. and they ensure proper alignment. That's why we try to prefer or opt for the V-type guideways. Sorry, and chips actually do not collect over this particular V-type because they're slanted in nature, and they just slant over the V-type. So let usually have both the guideways because we can use the flat and V-type guideways to take the best advantage. So that is the important aspect. So what are the particular ribs? Because you might have seen, I'll just show in one of the diagrams. So ribs are very important because we have to give strength and rigidity to the lathe bed structure. Because just like a human being anatomy, why the ribs are there, it will be holding the particular inner the parts of the human being, liver or the pancreas or the other parts. So that is very important. That's why you have to take care while just walking or running, or because anybody have meeting with an accident, there may be like rib damage. You have to give strength and rigidity to the lathe. So now we have another 10 to 15 minutes. So we'll just try to go for the new screen share. So just try to go for the new screen share because I want to tell you so different aspects also, so that we can understand better of the other things. But before going to the new screen share, you have to know the working principle of lathe machine. So just listen. So we have a workpiece, you know how the workpiece is. You can draw a diagram. Your workpiece, you have a workpiece is supported between the live center support and the dead center support, and you have a tool which is moving perpendicular to the workpiece. So it is based on the principle of, what is the working principle of lathe? It is based on the working principle of the producing the products of desired shapes. So you have to remove the material from the rotating job or the workpiece in the form of chips. So in the fundamentals of machining, you might have studied the different types of chips. That will not repeat now. So the tool is made to travel. You have to just specify like that. The tool is made to travel across the workpiece and fed into the work. So the speed of travel of the work, the speed of travel of the tool and feed. So how do you adjust the speed of travel of the tool and feed? They are adjusted by the speed control. The speed control as well as the feed mechanism. Feed mechanism you have in the apron, the feed controls. So that is the thing. And already I told you the workpiece is fixed securely in the chuck, the 3-jaw chuck or the 4-jaw chuck, or the face plates chucks or face plates. We'll just try to discuss in the lathe accessories, the mandrel, the face plate and everything. So already I told you, we have discussed now, a lathe consists of bed. We'll just try to sum up. Lathe bed, headstock. So cross slide is mounted on the carriage to traverse the tool, and we have a tool post which is mounted on the cross slide to hold the tool. Tool post is mounted on the cross slide to hold the tool. So we have a carriage also. So the carriage moves on the guideways or bedways. So it is provided on the bed. It's provided on the bed, and cross slide provides motion to the tool. Provides motion to the tool. So all these are very important types. Already yesterday we have discussed about the step cone pulley. We'll try to discuss when I have time. Important, it's useful for short answers. And what are the types of lathe bedways we have discussed. All these are very important things you have to discuss. And we have the particular the cutting speed parameters also we have, just like that. And we have to know what is the difference between different accessories, that is the face plate and drive plate. And chucks also. Chucks we have a universal holding chuck also. So it is consists of universal chuck it consists of 3 jaws. Universal 3-jaw chuck will consist of 3 jaws only, but independent chuck will consist of 4 jaws. So you have to know that also. Suppose anybody asks how many jaws are there for the universal chuck, it is 3-jaw chuck. So all this are, so if we adjust a single jaw, why it's known as universal chuck? Because by adjusting a single jaw, all the jaws you can move simultaneously. But what is the disadvantage is you cannot hold irregular jaws in the chuck. But in the independent chuck, there is a 4-jaw chuck. You can hold the independent jaws. So we'll just discuss some of the things which are necessary for you. And guideways also we have discussed. And you try to know all the particular functions of this particular the components of a lathe. And I want to ask you one question, because already we are 45 minutes to start of the class. So what suppose anybody asks you what is how do you differentiate between the motion of cross slide and compound rest? Motion of cross slide and compound rest. So how do you, what is the answer you have? So just starting with the cross slide. So where is the cross slide? Cross slide is mounted on the saddle, and it provides a cutting tool motion. It provides a cutting tool motion normal to the, already I told you, perpendicular to the center line of the lathe or to the spindle axis. So it also supports, what it supports, the cross slide, it supports the compound rest. It supports the compound rest or tool post. So what is a cross slide? Already I told you, we have a hand wheel. As part of that particular, we have a hand wheel, and a hand wheel will have a particular divisions, just like on a micrometer or a vernier caliper. We have a divisions, not circular divisions, but linear divisions. So you can, we have a micrometer dial. That's what I want to say. We have a micrometer dial on the hand wheel, and it helps to regulate the feed. It helps to regulate the feed. So cross slide hand wheel will consist of the, just like a scale, graduated means we have a different divisions about 30 centimeters or 15 centimeters scale we have now. We have some divisions. So like that, we have a micrometer dial. It will use to regulate the feed. So that is the particular cross slide. And the movement of this cross slide, how you can obtain the movement of the cross slide? The movement of the cross slide can be obtained by rotating the hand wheel. By rotating the hand wheel, or you can, it is manual. But if it is a turret lathe or an automatic lathe, the power will come from the power drive, from the powertrain. So all these are important aspects. So in the short answer question, you may ask the differentiate between the motion of cross slide and compound rest. So cross slide we have finished. Now we'll come to the compound rest. Compound rest. So what is a compound rest? Compound rest is nothing but, already I told you, it's mounted on the cross slide. Cross slide is mounted on the saddle. And here the compound rest is mounted on the cross slide. So you have to see all this. So it supports the tool post. And it enables the movement of the tool. It enables the movement of the tool at an angle, and at an angle to the axis of the lathe, perpendicular to the axis of the lathe, or at an angle. What is the specified angle? You can swivel over the circular scale, which is at the bottom of the compound rest. That is known as the taper angle. Taper angle in taper turning operation.